Welcome to A Poor Millionaire. Today we're going to talk about being frugal, being a cheapskate. Welcome to A Poor Millionaire. My name is Curtis, and today we're going to talk about being a cheapskate, being frugal, being efficient, financial minimalism as they like to call it. Guys, I am a strong believer in being a cheapskate, being frugal, being a financial minimalist. I like to save money as much as humanly possible. I like to live as far, that's basic. One of the main principles of getting rich is living below your means, no matter what your means are. If you are living in a cardboard box and your income is $5 a day, well, you should only spend $4 a day. All right? That is how extreme you need to be, guys. You've got to live below your means. I know how hard it is because obviously I've made mistakes in my past. But the way that I got here was by living below my means. I always live below my means. I always live as cheaply as humanly possible. Let me list a couple ways that I've been super cheap. Not eating out a lot, and when I do eat out, I eat out at like Taco Bell, right? That's being super cheap. When you're a millionaire, you have an Escalade and you drive up to Taco Bell. People are always looking at you going, "Why are you at Taco Bell? You've got all that money. You can go to a nice restaurant." And every once in a while, I do go to a nice restaurant. Every once in a while, my friends take me to a nice restaurant. I don't never go to a nice restaurant, but it is rare, guys. Because I find that you can get Taco Bell, Wendy's, some fast food restaurant, even though the food's not that healthy. But you know what? The food at the fancy restaurant's not that healthy either. So I find the quality of the food is pretty similar. So it's like, why am I going to spend $20 to eat, and when I can spend $5 and eat, right? And when you're taking people, you can go and take 4 people, and fast food restaurants like $20, whereas you take 4 people to a restaurant, you're pushing $100, $110 nowadays. So being frugal is a massive advantage to building wealth. It is a necessity. You've got to be able to live below your means. You have to leverage yourself. In order to leverage your money, you're going to have excess money. In order to have excess money, you're going to have to live below your means. And you have to live below your means as much as possible. When I was younger and I was single and I didn't have any big house or big cars or any stuff, I would take half of my money, and I would save half or invest half. I always invested. I invested, built businesses. I was constantly hustling, flipping my money, investing my money, always looking for the next investment, played the stock market, and then eventually moved into real estate. Being frugal is how I got there. If you weren't frugal, and then a lot of times people will tell you, I was just talking to a girl today, and I was talking about house hacking, and I was like, yeah, I had 7 roommates, I had all my rooms rented, I had a ton of people living in my house, and she's like, well, that's not very adult of you. And I'm like, hey, you want to be an adult or you want to be rich? You know what I mean? It's like, and I feel like it's actually being more of an adult when you live below your means. Where as far as like these people who go out and buy these big houses, they live in them all by themselves or with just one other person, and they got this big giant empty house they're paying for while they're working their 80-hour week, and then at the end of the month they've got nothing left over, or they're going in debt on their credit cards buying goodies and stuff for their house. I don't think it's worth it, guys. I mean, if you need to save money. If you're not frugal, if you don't use financial minimalism to me means being efficient. It means living below your means and being efficient. It means not just spending money to spend money. Not the name brands I can do without. I do like some name brands, but for the most part, I do not wear name brands. I do not buy expensive stuff. I buy you know what really excites me, and this is kind of crazy. One time I bought a pair of jeans for $5 at like JCPenney's, and you know what? When I wore those jeans, I always got excited when I put them on because I was like, "These are my $5 jeans." I was like, "Wow, I paid only $5 for these." That's exciting to me. Paying $300 and putting a pair of jeans on, that's not exciting. You know, it seems foolish to me. It's like $300. I feel like I got ripped off. $5. I feel like I ripped them off, right? So I always feel better about a deal when I pay less than what the value is. Just like when I bought the Escalade. I got the cheapest Escalade in the entire country for that year model, that color. I couldn't find a single one that was cheaper. And so I knew I got a great deal on that Escalade. It's the same thing when you buy anything. When I bought my house, I knew that it was square footage, it was way below market, and I knew that I was getting a great deal. And now it wasn't perfect. It needed a lot of paint, had a lot of gold fixtures, had gold ceiling fans, had all sorts of weird stuff that looked really old. It had some weird green wallpaper in the kitchen, but I wasn't looking at all that. What I was looking at is that 6 bedrooms and 4 baths. I was like, wow. The 6 bedrooms and 4 baths, you know what I immediately thought? I thought, you know what? If I had roommates, that house is free, right? And I was single and young, and I was like, why not? I was like, so I had basically MTV Crib or MTV where they do the house thing. I forgot what it's called. It's an old show. But I had 7 or 8 people living in my house. It was always a party. It was a madhouse. It was a disaster. But what I'm saying is I live for free. I could afford that house by myself. I could afford to live there. I could have paid the mortgage, and I could have been a proper adult and lived like everyone else. I am such a proper adult. You know what I mean? I could have done that, but I decided, you know what? It was more important to me that I say it. And the other thing is, like, to me, that was risky. To me, it was risky to spend everything that I made on my house, my food, my car. It's extremely risky. I was like, you know what's not risky? Is living rent-free. That's not risky, because I'm taking all that money and I stick it in the bank every single month. $2,000 to $2,200 every single month. Free money every month. Instead of spending that on my house that's going out. You do the math, guys. After a very short amount of time, I mean, I'm looking at 20 grand. Next year, another 20 grand. Guys, you can figure out ways to live below your means. It's less risky than living at your means. And if people make fun of you for being a little bit thrifty, then what's really funny is, like, later on whenever you start getting wealthy, then they're going to start saying, oh, he's so lucky. I heard that one. Whenever I started getting wealthy and I finally started where I could afford, like, I was so far below my means that even when I was like, you know, I want this and I've got the money, I'm just going to buy it. I'm still less than 50% of my income currently. And people didn't realize, okay, they still thinking I'm poor. They don't understand. I'm like, you know what? It's just because I live below my means doesn't mean that I'm as poor as you think I am, right? And you kind of sneak up on them. You sneak up on your friends, right? You do it for about 5 to 10 years, and then you hopefully that 50% of your income or whatever the amount is, that money, that extra 50% that you're investing and you're buying real estate, you're buying assets, eventually that money is going to make you money, and eventually you're going to be able to spend even more money, and eventually what is living below your means is going to be way above their means, right? And that's where you want to go. You want to you start off below them because they're going to stay in a flat line. You are making the same income as them, and you start off below them, but then eventually you go right on by them, and then pretty soon your income's just going straight up, right? And their income's still staying the same, and they're still paying everything they make. Everything they make comes in, goes out. Comes in, goes out. What you make, half of what you make is going into investments that are paying where your money goes up and up and up. And eventually your lifestyle goes beyond theirs. And that's when they start going, oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. Why you could just help me out. You know, you're lucky. You're lucky. No, it's not luck. It's not luck. I lived below my means for years and years and years while you partied and while you lived the way everyone else told you to live. At that spending every dollar. Your income rises to your expenses. You've got to knock that. You got to beat it down, right? Beat it down with a stick. Do whatever you got to do and get that income lower. Live below your means. That's what I think financial minimalism is to me. It's basically figuring out a way to do things cheaper than what everyone else is doing. Guys, if you do everything the way everyone else is doing it, if you go buy it like you buy it, you're like, hey, I want an Escalade. I can afford an Escalade. I could afford an Escalade when I bought my Escalade. In fact, I really wasn't even planning on buying it. I was going to buy a Tahoe, but I realized the new Tahoe was actually more expensive than this used Escalade I bought. And I was like, you know what? And then it's like I checked the two things, and I was like, you know what? I'll just get the Escalade, right? But if I had bought that the normal way everyone else bought it, the normal way, I went into the normal dealership, and I didn't buy it used, and I didn't buy it at a special place. I didn't drive 60 miles to go pick it up. If I'd done all that, that Escalade would have cost me almost $100,000, right? But instead of doing that, I got it like half off. I paid like $53,000 for that Escalade, right? So half of what the cost was, because I didn't do it the normal way everyone else was doing it. I went in and I said, hey, I want to lower my expenses, right? Even though I could have afforded to go buy that $100,000. I was like, hey, buying a $100,000 Escalade is going to hurt me financially. It's going to lessen the amount of money that I can reinvest into my company, lessen the amount of money that it's going to make it where I have to work harder to keep that money going. Living below your means and being frugal is what you need to do if you want to be financially independent, and it's what you need to do if you want to be rich. Now, what extreme you take this to is how fast you're going to get to where you want to go. You take it to that 50% extreme, you're going to get there really, really fast. Now, really, really fast to me is like 5 years, right? Really, really fast to me is like 5 or 10 years, all right? The slow boat is like 20 years, all right? And that's when you're like at 20% or 10%. You're in the slow road. You're on a slow road to getting to where you want to go. All right, and obviously it's how you invest that money. So you still need to be a savvy investor. You still need to spend your time making sure you're getting a solid rate of return on it, making sure your money's protected, making sure that you make it through financial swings in the market, right? Financial swings in the market can wipe you out. So guys, you want to be rich? Press the like button and follow me, subscribe. Okay, if you don't do that, you're not going to be rich. Obviously, right? That's a given. But guys, if you want to build success and wealth, you're going to have to spend less money than you make. Now, that's the step one. Step two is you have to invest that money. You can't just save it. You can't just put it in a bank account and not touch it. You need to invest that money. You need to make that money work for you. You need to start a small business with that money. You could take that money and start a small business and start making more money with that money. Then you could take that money, roll it back into your small business and make more money. And roll it back in, roll it back in. Eventually your small business is making more money than your 9 to 5. Then you quit your 9 to 5 and you focus only on your company and you build that even bigger. And you flip until now you have a massive company. You take that money, you invest it into real estate, and you flip. Suddenly you're independently wealthy. Suddenly you're making a lot of money. Suddenly all your friends are wondering what happened. Why are they still making $35,000 a year and you're making a lot more? And you don't work as hard as they do. That is financial minimalism to me. Financial minimalism to me also means not buying the most expensive thing, which basically rolls down to the same thing of living below your means. It's like don't go to Las Vegas and walk into the most expensive place, even after you've got the money to do it. You know, you can afford a $20,000 painting. Don't go to Las Vegas, walk into that art museum and buy a $20,000 painting. That's just foolish, right? If you're gonna buy a painting that's worth $20,000 and that's what interests you and that's what you're gonna do, then what you need to do is find that painting for like $1,000. Find a similar painting that's worth $20,000 retail. Find it for like on Craigslist or find it on eBay or find it somewhere. Make sure it's legit. Make sure it's the same artist. All that good stuff, and buy it below market. Don't buy it full retail price. Lower that expenses. Do not spend every dollar you make. Also, don't have like 15 houses. Don't have 15 cars. Now, obviously, if that's your hobby, if cars are your hobby or your business, then you're going to have 15 cars. But I said, for the most part, you can only drive one car at a time. So be very careful about getting lots and lots of crazy items that you don't use. That's the thing. Financial minimalism is also about not buying stuff that you're not going to use. And also when you buy stuff, guys, make sure it's something that you will use. And it's not just something that's going to sit in your closet or sit at your house or sit in your car. It's got to be something you use every day. And if you don't use it every day, get rid of it. What I used to do is I would buy a video game console during Christmas, right? And I'd play it for basically a day or two, and then I'd say, okay, I'm probably not gonna play it again for the next 12 months. I'd sell it, and it'd be gone. And I do the same thing with TVs. Back when I was trying to make money, I was trying to hustle. Anything when I walked out in the living room and I saw something of value, my immediate instinct was to sell it and get rid of it, because I was like, if I sell that right now, I'm not gonna lose any value on it. Everything had a price tag. I mean, there are times when I didn't even have furniture, all right, because I'm just so extreme on just like anything that I wasn't using. If I didn't use a TV for like a couple days, I was like, do I really need that TV? I'm not using it. Sold. Am I using that video game console? Not using it. Sold. Every time. I mean, I've had, 20 televisions, because I just sit there. I walk out and go, I haven't used that in a week. Sold. I was like, that thing's losing value right now. So constantly making sure that everything that you have a purpose for and you're using, and don't collect all the junk. And I get this, everybody gets this, where you start collecting more and more stuff, and it just starts guys, everything that you own is going to cost money. Even if it's just sitting in your closet, it's going to cost brain power, right? So you need to streamline it. And I've got to do that. I am just as bad at this as everyone else. And I know it, because I walk in my closet and I'm like, half this stuff I don't wear, and it's just sitting there causing me to use my brain to figure out what I actually wear, and then figure out what I want to wear today. You know, it's like the Einstein where he wore the same outfit every single day. Steve Jobs basically did the same thing where he's wearing that turtleneck and the jeans every day, right? You're just trying to streamline your life, make it easier for you financially, make it easier for you mentally, and clean your life up, clean your lifestyle up, right? Keep everything easy and minimalized. Guys, make sure you press the like button, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.